Today I'm sharing with you a couple of quick tips and techniques to help you create some very simple table runners and at the end a tablecloth. I'm measuring my table and I'm picking out a couple fabrics that I think I might use from my stash, which you can see is super massive. This fabric is one of my absolute favorite. My husband ordered me this bolt. I'm writing down some measurements with a quick sketch to get an idea of the sizes that I want to make. And to be honest, I could have made 50 different styles. I had so many ideas, it was hard to choose which ones to make. I'm going to measure out along the fabric how long I decide the measurements of the first one, because I don't want to cut it in strips and have like seams running across necessarily. You could do that. You could piece fabrics together or however you want. Now, because I'm working in a smaller space on my desk, I'm going to fold the fabric up and cut it that way. You can cut it however you want, if you want to cut it along a dining table or something like that. But I'm going to use a rotary cutter and kind of rock it through to cut it. You can use scissors or whatever way feels easiest and safest for you. So right now it's winter time and I'm making a few different styles, but I really like this one in particular because it works throughout the year. And I was very, very tempted to do a lot of other things to it. I like that it's neutral and it's super easy to work with. You could stencil it, you could add Cricut vinyl, you could add trim like a lace, you could add a ruffle. So set your stitch and drop your presser foot. I'm actually going to keep it with the layers doubled. If you saw, I just cut through 2 layers of fabric. And I'm basically sewing like a pillowcase. And I'm going to go ahead and run my serger around the edge because I have one, and hey, when you have one, you should use it. Turn it right side out and get your corners all squared out. To square out my corners, I use, it's like a corner pusher. It's actually like a bone folder that I've had for like 25 years. Okay, maybe like 15, but it's like been my favorite tool for all craft endeavors in my arsenal kit of sewing and crafting. Once you've squared out all of your corners, you're going to go ahead and press it with the iron. At this point, you want to press the entire table runner and square your corners up really nice and get the best squared out edges that you can. And as you're pressing along, you want to fix like your edges and get them really straightened out. I actually think I might have stuck the tool in to straighten it out a few times as I went along, because it can easily look misshapen if it's not pressed very squarely. And at this stage here, I'm going to press over the opening where we turned it right side out. So when you sew, you can just sew right along that. You want to set your top stitch and drop your presser foot. If you do have a double needle, this would be a really great time to use it. You can also create like a decorative stitch. I had a ton of decorative stitches I could use, but I just went for a simple stitch around the edge to keep it, I don't know, kind of more minimalist look. And I pressed it one more time, and that is it. For this next table runner project, I'm using this really fancy buffalo plaid that is one of my all-time favorite fabrics as well. My husband also ordered me this, and I'll drop a link for it. They are both from Amazon. The first one was called, it's a muslin and it's a Sonnenberg press. And you can get that at several different places, but that brand Rocklon is the bomb, and I highly recommend trying it. It's meant also for like draping and fabric making, and it just has a variety of uses, but I like to use it as a decorative purpose because it's very farmhousey. So when you're working with a plaid, the best thing to do is just cut along the grid with your scissors. If you try to cut with a rotary cutter, you might end up with very uneven lines, and it causes a lot of shifting, and it won't, you'll end up wasting fabric. These are Gangher scissors that I love. This is my second pair, and my husband ordered them for me from, I think, Joann's. I have seen them on Amazon, but the first pair I actually had for like 25 years before they dulled, and they only dulled because I cut burlap with them for literally 5 years. So probably not good to do that, but I still use the first pair for burlap cutting and the second pair for all my other fabric cutting. So after you cut your runner out, you're going to fold the sides over because I'm only doing this one in the one layer. And I'm doing a double fold. When you iron it, you want to just try to get as straight a line as possible. And this part is where I'm just making a mark for you to see when I miter the corner. And then I fold the sides together. And I'm going to sew it across and basically make a point and then turn it right side out. You can do your corners however you want, but I like this look, and this is just a simple trick to get that. So you're going to sew across at sort of a diagonal and then trim it off. And you can see right there where it's kind of a point. So when you turn it right side out, it's like a perfect mitered corner. There you have it. And then I'm just going to sew along the double fold now, fold it back over. And just do a top stitch all the way around the edge. And again, if you have a double needle, that's a good time to use it to give you a nice professional look to your edge. After that, I'm going to press it and get all the wrinkles out and get the edges. Sometimes it's kind of buckling on the tension of the thread, and get it pressed really nice, and there is the final look. So for this final thing, I'm doing a tablecloth instead of a runner. I picked up this fabric. It's from Hobby Lobby, and it's like a holiday plaid. It has a bit of a flannel to it. The buffalo plaid had a bit of a flannel on one side as well. But every time I would go to Hobby Lobby with my husband, I was like super attracted to this fabric. and I picked it up like on 2 different occasions. So they're not off the same bolt, and I used it for other projects. And this is what I have left of it. But I thought I would just piece it together because I'm not selling it or anything like that. It's for my home use, and because it's like kind of a busy plaid, you probably can't see very much where I'll piece it together. And I'm basically pressing over the edge to where like the grids line up. And once I get the, I don't know, the row of the grid, I can go ahead and iron it on its own. This winter, I wasn't really putting any red into my holiday decor. I was keeping it very neutral, just beige, green, black and white, check. But I thought that this would be a nice switch up for different table settings. And the table that you see me using is kind of a little mini kitchen island where I can do play settings or kind of a little centerpiece for my husband and I if we want to have a meal there, or maybe just when he comes home for it to look nice. And I might share a few ideas on centerpieces in a later video. And the more I worked on this tablecloth, the more I liked it. So the next thing I'm going to do is change out my thread and put in a red thread. So make sure you do that to coordinate with whatever fabrics you're using. And you're going to drop your presser foot and just sew along if you're piecing together fabrics like this. Which you might if you want to do something quilted or strips of different fabrics. There's so many like ideas out there that you could do. After that, I'm going to cut along the edge. Just trim it all the way to make it even. And I'm going to do basically the same thing that I did with the buffalo plaid runner. I'm also mitering the corners just the same. And this is a simple technique to give you a professional look. And then I top stitch all around the edging to secure the double fold. And if you have a double needle, use it on all of them and you'll have a really professional look. Or you can just go around twice if you want, or once. Anyhow, the more I was working on this fabric, the more I was excited about it, and I really liked the way that it turned out. And I think I'll use it for many years to come. The fun thing about making table runners and a tablecloth is they're really easy to store. They're not going to take up a lot of room in the tiniest of spaces, but they can really make a difference in a dramatic look for your tablescaping, and it just makes it feel fun and like you put a great deal of thought into it. Hey, that's it. Thank you so much for watching.